In this video, we're going to do some of the first mods that we're ever going to do to this thing. All about the tires. One of the first things that people really suggest to do when you have a TRX4 Sport or the regular Defender is to come in and modify the tires. The tires are pretty good out of the box, but with a little bit of cutting, supposedly it really wakes these tires up and makes them a whole lot better. So based on all the research we're doing, we're going to do 3 things to these tires. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take out these small little triangle lugs on each one of these all the way around. Second thing we're going to do is, if you see over here on the shoulder, we have a big lug, big, small, alternating around the pattern. The small ones have a cut right here in them. The big ones do not. So we're going to come in here and make a V cut right here to open up these big blocks. Traxxas already has those alternating small and big lugs as they come around the shoulder of the tire here. The small lug is actually a different dimension than the big lug. So the big lug actually sticks out further than the small one. But man, it doesn't stick out very much. It's a very small amount that it sticks out, the difference there. And so what I want to do is I want to come in and I want to take some more material off of all these small lugs to make that difference between the big and the small even greater. To do this today, we're going to be using some side cutters to snip off blocks easier. Of course, handy dandy X-Acto knife, and then just the typical razor blade knife that you can pick up at the store. Very handy. All of these, we'll be using them depending on where we are on the tire. So again, this first cut, very easy. You can actually pinch the tire up, take the knife, come directly in underneath and just slide back and forth gently. The lug's still connected actually to the other lug, so then you come in this way, pull it, and pow! That lug is now gone. On to the next one. Underneath, trying to keep square. Obviously you don't want to get into the carcass of the tire. Like this, trying to keep my hand away from the camera. Boop, just like that. And then with that, you have then created a difference. You can see as we have already made some progress around the tire. The next mod of this tire, what we're doing is we are taking, again, taking the big lug, and we're going to be cutting the corner out of that big lug. You see how it comes up and it makes a slight arc and then it goes out to the sidewall of the tire. So what we're doing is we're actually going to be slicing in here and taking that corner out of that lug. To do this, side cutters are an easy way of getting all the way in there. One side of that lug, flip it around, hit the other side of that lug. Maybe a little bit too wide there, maybe a little bit too wide of a cut. Now a lot of the times it won't go all the way through, so I'm going to then take my knife and I'm going to just finish that slice on through. And just like that, that lug is now sliced. Probably a little bit too big. As I come through, I'm going to try to make that slightly smaller, more straight up of a V cut as I take the rest of these out. Alright, now we have that outside of the lug there cut all the way around. Some of them are better than others. This is not as precise as the middle lug. So you can see a little bit here, if the camera will really focus in, side versus side, cut versus not cut. Alright, and then the last step that we've done here is we've actually gone ahead and removed, like I said, small lug versus big lug all the way around. We took the small lugs and ground them down. Now I did this 2 different ways. Alright, first way to do this is to take the knife and actually work your way back and forth across this lug until you actually take it off. It does work well, especially if you have a longer blade than this. So this is just one of these standard blades. If you had a much longer one, the ability to just cut smoothly all the way back and forth would be really nicely. It would be really nice. Since I didn't have that, I actually used my bench grinder and I just touched the bench grinder on each lug just for a very short period of time, and it ate that lug away like nobody's business. And so now what we've done is, when I measure on the inboard side of the tire that hasn't been modified yet, you know, there's maybe like a millimeter gap between the big lugs and small lugs. We've over doubled that. We're maybe 2, 3, even more millimeters. So it gives those lugs a much better chance of biting whatever we're trying to crawl up. So the 3 things that we did: center lug, cut the big lug, grind down the outside of the side small lug. So we're going to keep doing this. We've done half of a tire, half of one tire. We have what is it, 2, 4, 6, 7 more halves to go, and so we will come back and check in once that is done. Check it out. That is the pile of rubber that is left over after having shaved all of these tires down. It's time to go test this out. Let's go take it outside. Let's see how these drive. First test drive is done. That was interesting. So, do I think this has definitely made an improvement in these TRX4 tires? Yes, I do. It is very interesting. I found a couple spots where it felt like my side grooves here, where I cut these in, maybe that allowed this to catch. But honestly, these don't stick so far off the sidewall to where I don't know if it really makes much difference anyway. But it is, I think logically it's an improvement. Did it make a big difference? I don't know. Maybe in 1 or 2% of the scenarios, it'll catch you there. These center grooves, I don't know why, but man, the tire did seem to have a little bit more traction. But the other thing I really noticed was the amount of flex in the tire. And I think that's gotta be due to these edge cuts right here. Because those big, thick lugs are keeping the shoulder of the tire stiff. Now they're not. Now that tire can flex be really easy because that shoulder's not there. Right? There's not that edge there, so that allows the whole tire to flex. I noticed a whole lot more flexing and enveloping around objects as we went up and over things. Definitely an improvement. So, at the end of the day, what would I do? I think if you have a set of TRX4 tires laying around, I would do this. It took about 2 hours, I say, in order to do all 4 tires with all 3 things, right? Cutting of the little triangles, cutting of the shoulders, buffing down of this edge. Took probably about 2 hours total. Highly recommend it. Literally costs you nothing. I think it makes the truck go just that little bit more. It really makes me want to get another set of tires now and cut it even more to take out even more of these lugs to really open up some of this. Because I notice I still think in the shoulder area I could probably get a little bit better traction. So it makes me want to maybe take this whole lug off all the way here. But maybe that's a different day. So thanks for watching. Really hope you appreciate it. We have some more videos over here on whether it's just the TRX4 adventures, general crawling, or a whole series that we're doing on upgrades for this truck. So follow along. Thanks for watching. See you next time.